Greetings, YouTube.
What's going on? We are back, everybody.
Welcome back to the Meant to Vent broadcast channel.
Doing it again. Doing it again.
Rolling them out like cookies on a baking sheet.
Keep those doggies rolling.
Keep on rolling, baby. You know what time it is.
We keep doing it.
Do you know what time it is? Because I do.
Yes.
It's time to vent it out.
Time to bring out those crazy headlines, the crazy stories, the crazy things that might happen, our crazy nights, our crazy whatevers.
Or we just might bring out the mundane and the boring and entertain you with that even.
We might just do weather reports around the globe.
Yeah. Right now it's probably sunny with a chance of showers later in the afternoon in good old England.
And here, it's sticky with a chance of humidity stickiness.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be so sticky. If you threw a piece of bologna at somebody, they would need one of them putty knives to scrape it off their skin.
It is so humid outside. Like, when I bend my arm like this and go like this, it makes a noise.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I do that with my leg. Yeah, it sounds like Velcro being pulled apart.
Exactly.
Okay, I have to say, what was that noise?
Not sure.
Okay, that was weird. Anyways,
I think it was a spaceship.
I think we just, as I say, I think a UFO just tried to abduct us.
That was kind of weird.
Failed abduction. Either that or they drove by and they were like, no, we don't want them.
Yeah. And speaking of that, coming to the news, the Pentagon are declassifying some UFO files.
Are you excited about this?
I mean, I knew it was coming, because like I said, there was like nothing else left to do. All these crazy scenarios. It's just, I mean, Godzilla wasn't going to come. Aliens was coming because something was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, something was going to happen.
Could you imagine if it was Godzilla?
It was either Godzilla or Elvis was coming back. It had to be something drastic like that.
That would have been even better if it was Elvis. He came back in a flying saucer.
Or he came back riding Godzilla on his shoulder.
Okay, you almost made me do a spit take there. We have expensive equipment here. You can't be making me do spit takes.
Yep. So yeah, man, we've been talking about it. They're releasing some files saying some of the things they found and see are definitely not from Earth.
No, they are not from Earth. They're not 100% sure. They say it's, what is it? What is the term they use? That it's a possibility that it is not of Earth origin.
Yeah, and it's something that they can't recreate.
Right. So if they can't make it, that means they didn't make it here.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of these forces and space forces and all these like agencies with all these new initials, and they're not even calling them UFOs anymore.
Nope, unidentified aerial phenomenon.
So that's UAP.
It's a phenomenon. So now, why do you think they changed the name? Is it because there are maybe so many aerial vehicles now? We have drones, we got airplanes, we got helicopters, we got all these different things.
I think it brought in kind of narrows down the classification more because when it's on UFO, it could be anything, like you just said. It could be any of those things.
Right. It could be a bird. You know what I mean? It's an unidentified flying object. It could have been a frisbee for all that matter. You have no idea. It's just you can't figure out what it is. You saw something fly by. You don't know what it is. That's a UFO.
Yep.
But
it probably goes to the same thing for water UFOs too, like a different initial for the water ones.
I don't know.
But
it's a possibility. Yeah. Well, they need like an all-encompassing vernacular for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, so they're declassifying stuff. They're letting us know that there's a possibility of things of extraterrestrial origins. But I kind of think in the article they were putting an emphasis on the idea that they could be made like they're worried. I think the government is concerned that other countries may have like a technological leap. They're like, well, what if this stuff was made in China?
Right.
What if it was made in Russia? And I think that's they're concerned because if they've got technology that's much greater than ours, we're up shit's creek.
Gotcha. Yeah, it could be, man. It could be. Like, who the hell is making this shit? And, we got to get up on that.
Oh, yeah, they need to get in it.
They'll have to take them scientists over here.
Oh, shoot. We'll have to, and if we start a war with them, it'll be like the Indians fighting the Spanish back in the day.
It will be crazy.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody's itching for one, dude. That's so scary about it. They're all like just ready to jump, let's do it then. I want to fight.
Oh, there's so much tension between like all the countries right now. The tension in the air is palpable. It's true. What I think China's putting pressure on India. They got little skirmishes going on the borders, and then people are kind of frowning on them, like, hey man, why are you picking on India? Leave them alone.
You're talking about like the supposedly like Korea is like supposedly doing like illegal sand sales, like they're doing like selling like sand and like making shorelines go different, affecting shorelines because they're like selling sand to like other countries and shit.
What?
Yeah, that's a weird thing going on.
That is strange. Why would you sell sand to other people?
Well,
Isn't sand
a lot of people are. It's a hard thing. People pump it out of the ocean. In some areas are protected territories, and they make sand out of everything from concretes to all of our products. You know, some of the stuff,
that makes
everything has
sense.
sand in it. So a
'Cause
lot
it's
of
all got
people,
silicate.
they buy the shit out of it, and it's a crazy market, and that's a whole nother like thing to get into. That's all deep shit, but yeah, that's one of the things going on. Causing tensions everywhere too.
So, well, you opened that can of worms. I got to ask now: is there a huge industry like at the Sahara Desert?
Not necessarily. It's like not necessarily like people are taking it from the desert, but they're pumping it from oceans, like areas of that, like, and they're using it for, like I said, like concretes. Every building.
Oh, they want
that
to
goes
have
up
that
and
wet sand. They don't want that dry sand that's been
So when
baking
they-
in the heat.
It's basically you're looking for the cheaper price everywhere. Everybody's looking for a cheaper price,
got
so
you.
that's what's going on there.
It's probably easier to pump that wet sand than it is to go dig up that dry sand.
And apparently, where they're pumping the sand is a protected area, so they're saying it's illegal or some kind of sanction crap, and the boys in some hot water.
I want you to say pumping sand again because that sounded kind of sexy.
Pump up the sand.
Pump it up. Pump that sand
Pump
up.
it.
Pump it. Pump it. Pump it. Pump it. That's funny. That's weird though. I never even heard of that. I didn't think about the fact that people are just after sand because sand is used in everything. It's probably used in your phone, your screens. It's probably used in televisions and everything you can possibly imagine. I'm sure there's sand in it.
Fuck yeah! Like back in the '70s, late '60s and the '70s, the mob like literally ran New York. They were doing a fucking. People thought it was like just booze and like shit like that. They were selling. They took over the gas. They were selling they were doing the gas hustle in the '70s.
What?
Fuck yeah, man! If you guys don't know this, here's some fucking history. The fucking gangsters, like right when the '70s hit.
This is New York.
Yes, they
So
used to
when
call
we
it. They used to call it back in '70s. They used to call it Fun City. But then when fucking the mobster took over in the '70s, man, it switched over the media. How the media does things. They turned it to Fear City because the mob started taking over and they did this fucking gas hustle, man. And the fucking feds and everybody was on them. So there was no. They were taking like cuts off the top of this gas deals, and the big mob family from the Bonanos to all of them got into it.
The Bonanos?
Yeah, there's
That's
a Bonano
a funny
family.
name.
There were like 5 big families,
I'll bet if you made fun of their name, you died.
Yeah, you wouldn't. It was you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I ain't doing it.
No, I
'Cause
ain't
they're still
doing it
around. You never know. No, just kidding. But yeah, man, they fucking took over. They were running shit, man. They started making. The guy comes up to the main gangster dude, and like I said, I'll keep the names off. But the stories, there's documentaries on it. Just you can find it everywhere. The stories, So yeah, they brought him some money, and it started off with just making like a whole bunch of hundreds of thousands. That they turned it into making like 10 million, 12 million a week business,
that's big
hustling
money.
gas. So they were selling gas to people for cheaper prices at these places, all these suppliers, and they were taking over that shit, man.
What?
And the feds were coming up asking them how they would do it, kept trying to figure it out. They were always following them, but they couldn't figure out how they were doing it.
I mean, it makes sense because we did have an issue with a gas shortage, and then prices went through the roof in the 70s. So I do remember that. I didn't know the mafia had like their fingers in that, but
Man,
New York
New York had their hands all over that shit, man. It's
Wow.
crazy shit, man. Those guys are those guys got it going on, man. If they get determined to take something, they're gonna take it.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh wow, that's crazy. So speaking of crazy, me and my friend almost died last night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you how. So I had a little gathering with a few friends last night, a little friendly gathering with some people. And so I call my buddy up, and he's already, in the process of destroying his liver.
Okay.
So he's like, well, I can't drive over. I was like, well, I'll come scoop you up.
He was like stretching it out already.
Yeah, he was already he was doing some liver yoga.
Yeah, that liver yoga.
Yeah, he was doing a little liver
That
yoga.
liver tai chi.
Yeah. So I scoop him up, and we go over to the house, and, we're throwing some bags. Playing cornhole, him and I was throwing like shit, okay? I threw worse than probably somebody who was a quadriplegic. They
Damn.
could have thrown better than I was throwing.
Damn.
Yeah, that's how bad.
You could have had a hook hand.
It was
do better.
It was bad. It was bad. And he kept telling me, he's like, "Come on, man, let's do dollar bets." I'm like, "Dollar bets? I might as well just give you my money."
Yeah.
Now,
here's $5 right now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Here's $5. Go sit down.
Yeah. Here's $5. Go home and let me finish your beer.
So his lady comes over after she got off work, and we're shooting the shit. Well, my neighbor behind me, who we're cool, he's a cool guy. He comes up, he's like, "Hey,
My neighbor behind me. He's a cool guy.
he's a cool guy. Yeah, he's a cool dude. He's retired. He's got medical issues, so he had to retire and whatnot. So he's like, "Hey, your mother gave me this pepper plant." I'm like, "Okay." I didn't know nothing about it because I don't get involved in all that stuff. I got my own things I'm involved in.
Your mother gave me this pepper plant.
Yeah, it's a pepper plant. He's like, "What is it?" I was like, "I don't know, dude." So he's like, "Well, I'm asking because they're hot as shit." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So my friend, he's like, "Nah, no, it's not." And they're not ripe yet, mind you. They're not ripe. The discussion is when are they ripe and when to pick them, because that's what we're trying to figure out because we don't know what kind of peppers they are.
Okay.
So my friend Chris said, nah, it ain't hot. I'm like, okay. So he grabs one right off the vine, pops the whole thing in his mouth. And I'm like, ooh. He's like, doing that. I'm like, okay. I was like, give me one. Let me try it. So I throw one in my mouth.
Nice.
Well, after I threw that in my mouth, I started chewing. I'm talking to my neighbor. I look to my left. Chris is gone. My friend Chris is gone. I'm like, where did this fool go? And that's when the heat hit me. It hit me hard, too. I started sweating. My mouth caught on fire.
Awesome.
It felt like a
Your
monster.
sinuses were cleared.
My body started sweating.
Your eyes were sweating, too, probably, right here.
They
Like when it
were.
just comes out right here for some reason when you hit that hot shit.
And my neighbor's like, he's like, is it hot? I was like, nah, man, it's all right. He's like, dude, I can tell by the look in your face that it's hot. Your eyes are sweating. Your face it's redder than a beet.
You ever get that when it gets that hot and you try to talk to somebody while you're breathing in still? You're like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's not that bad. It ain't that bad.
It got so hot. And the thing was it wasn't ripe. So it had that raw, that leafy green taste to it. You know what I'm talking about? That unripened taste.
Like it still had the pesticide on it.
Basically. So I had to spit it out.
Because it sounds like you didn't even wash it.
I didn't. We didn't. We didn't wash none of that. Yeah. Straight up. Just threw it right in the mouth.
Bug Rona.
Basically wiped it on my pants. I didn't even do that. My friend handed it to me, and I threw it in my mouth. You know how like a dog would just take anything off the ground?
Yes.
Or like a child
would just throw everything in their mouth.
That's basically what we did. We just no cause for recourse. No fear, nothing. It could have been poisonous. We had no clue. We didn't even care.
That was like them dudes on, like I told you about that Alone show.
So,
dumbasses.
Oh, yeah. You can get into that here in a second. So, I'm telling him, I'm like, it ain't hot. I'm sweating. I start getting hot. Then I had to spit it out. I didn't swallow it, which I think is what saved me. I didn't swallow it.
Because, yeah, when you got to pass, it's even the worst part.
I think it is, because I was good this morning. So I spit it out. My neighbor.
He said, because I was good this morning. Thank you for the update. Appreciate it.
Had 2 movements this morning, both of them crystal clear. But anyway, I spit it out. My neighbor starts dying laughing, and his daughter's with him there. They're both cracking up because they had already rode this train, so they knew what was going to happen.
I've never done it.
Yeah, they had already rode this train. So
I can tell my heat level by the smell of the pepper.
And see, this is the thing is you couldn't tell because it just smelled green.
I would have not touched it because of that. When you can't, and if you don't know, you let it go.
Yeah,
that's my motto.
And
if you don't know, just let it go.
And that makes sense. That's perfectly understandable. So I spit it out, and all of a sudden that makes it hotter because it's just like it let fresh air into my mouth or something. Then the fire got cranked up. I just walked away from my neighbor, didn't say another word, went right to the hose, and I see Chris. He's got the hose in his mouth, just letting it blast him in the mouth, and the water is just spilling out.
Gosh, he's like water hose bukkake himself.
He's just got the hose like this.
Money shot.
And it's just spraying the water.
The water will make it worse.
Well, I think the objective was to try to clean out as much crap that was in your mouth as possible. And it did work temporarily. And then we were good. But it lasted for about a good 30 minutes. He got it. I think he swallowed it. And I think he had it worse than me because I washed my mouth out a little bit with the water, and then I was good. I was able to handle the heat after that. Oof. I went back. I finished talking to my neighbors, and we're laughing at Chris, who's still over there just chugging water like he just traveled 90 miles through the desert.
Here's another piece of advice. If it even look like, the pepper doesn't even look that hot. If you can't see, just let it be.
Okay, so I call my mother this because I told my neighbor, I says, well, this will remind me, this experience here is going to be a definite, easy reminder.
The pepper plant.
of what I need to do tomorrow, which is call my mother and ask her what this plant is. So I did. I asked my mother, I says, hey, Ma, bling, bling, bling. Hello? Yeah, Ma? Yeah. You remember that plant you gave the neighbors?
She was like, pepperplants.com when you
She's
answered.
she goes, what neighbor? I'm like, the neighbor behind me. You gave the neighbor a pepper plant. She goes, oh, yeah, I remember. I'm like, okay. Um, because you said you had too many of them. She goes, yeah, all of mine died. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's a good thing because you don't know what you have your hands on. It's hot. It's real hot. What is it? She goes, oh, well, I got them because I was going to make salsa. I'm like, well, that would have been some hot-ass salsa. And then
I would have thought pepper spray.
And then she told me this. Yeah, they're ghost pepper plants.
Nice.
So I ate
those ain't no joke.
Unripe ghost pepper. So
you know those peppers are bad when they make that, whatever, how you say that word, Scoville units.
Yeah, the Scoville units.
Yeah, you reach that thing, that's a crazy.
It's
legit
definitely
pepper.
real high on the Scoville units.
Ghost
list.
peppers are like way high digits. I don't even. I'd have to look it on my phone, but
it's got to be like
lot.
number in the the top 10. I would think it's got to be top 10.
A lot.
Yeah. So yeah, that was we almost died. And I'll tell you, for the first time in my life, I discovered that the beer helped. After I rinsed my mouth out,
That's a little yeast.
Yeah, I drank the beer, and the beer killed that heat real quick.
Nice.
So I was good. Yeah, but I was talking to my neighbor after that, and we were still laughing at my friend who's just beat red. He's breathing heavy. He's got that heavy breathing, like a dog that's been out in the sun too long.
Yeah.
His tongue's hanging. I was like, Yeah, that was an interesting evening. Yeah, that was fun. Don't eat peppers if you don't know what they are.
He's over there breathing hard like he's trying to regurgitate a baseball. And he's eventually going to work it out, but it ain't coming yet.
It's not coming.
He's like, why'd you swallow it whole? And
right.
He's trying to work it out like a seagull when he swallows a shoe. He's like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can picture it.
Got the whole shoulder motions going. Sweat's just pouring off him.
Like somebody sit him down and start pumping his legs, try to get out try to help it, like squirt it out.
Parts of his body are sweating that he didn't even know could sweat. Like when I get hot, when I get the heat from a pepper, my ears will sweat. And I don't mean the outsides. I'm talking like my ear canal will start to sweat.
My shins. I'll get sweaty shins. What the fuck's up with that? Like my shins get all sweaty.
My fingernails. You didn't know your nails could sweat? My fingernails will start to sweat.
For real.
It's bananas.
Clammy ears.
Yeah, clammy ears and fingernails. Oh, man. So, yeah, don't eat peppers if you don't know what they are.
That's right.
I learned that lesson the hard way, so I will never do that again.
Lesson learned. We are fucking recording.
We are the recording ones.
Camera 1. Camera 2. Camera 1. Camera 2.
I'm looking at camera 1, and now I'm looking at camera 2. And then I look at camera 1, and then I look at you.
Oh.
Tripped you up there, didn't I? Oh, man, we got to quit fucking around. Let's get serious here, but not seriously. Like, get serious enough to not be serious.
Fuck off, but get serious.
Exactly. Make jokes, but talk seriously.
Come at me for real, but fuck you, and be serious, but I'm just playing.
Yeah. Come at me, but don't come at me. Because I don't like that. I'm non-confrontational.
Come at me with your eyes closed.
Bird box me.
Yeah, bird box me.
Oh, man. Anyway. So what was this you were saying? You won a social media argument. First of all, you were in an argument on social media.
I don't usually engage in this
I know
shit,
you don't. This is why this is kind of a little bit outside of your wheelhouse, I would say.
I just thought I had to say something. There's this boxer who I'm a fan of.
Okay, who is this boxer?
He's a former heavyweight champion, but he kind of shocked the world. His name was Andy Ruiz, and he was the first Mexican champion, which was awesome because I happen to be Mexican.
Right.
And it was awesome, man. He fucking shocked the world. He was
You're
supposed
Mexican?
to. Well, anyways, he was supposed to lose this fight against Anthony Joshua, and he came out, man, and he looked all pudgy guy, and everybody, stereotypical, like he thought he was going to lose because he looked out of shape, but he was really good. He was trained well.
Okay.
Ended up shocking the world, beating Anthony Joshua by knockout. And
okay.
Then in the rematch, he looked like heavier than ever. Didn't look like he trained. And he got fucking shoe shined. Like Joshua just ran around because he couldn't catch him.
When you say heavier, you mean like out of shape, like heavy?
Well, he already has like a heavier set body. He looks like a chubbier guy.
Uh-huh.
It almost, and so like, Yeah. So, anyways, he was like not really like the physique didn't look right, but
I gotcha.
his skills didn't match his physique. He was a really good boxer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's no denying that. But in the second fight, it didn't seem like he took his training serious because he got a lot of money from the first fight. He
Ah,
came in
yeah.
looking heavier, real slow. He didn't look like he had that same snap in speed, and so he got beat really bad in the second fight.
Ooh, that's not good.
And a lot of people are not sure if he's going to take it serious for the third fight. I mean, he should have brought it. And so he's on social media all the time. I follow him because I'm a fan of his. I still support
Sure,
him after the
sure.
loss. I'm sure he's going to come back. And get back on top. And so he was in a picture with some rapper, and I went up there and I was like, man, I kind of don't care about the made a little comment. I kind of couldn't hold back, and I was just like, I said, I don't care about the rap videos. I want to see you get back in training and take this serious and go take the get the belt back. You know
Oh,
what
I
I'm saying?
got you. Give him like a little
Like
encouragement.
motivation type
Yeah, a
of
little
thing.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So then somebody jumped on and said something like, maybe somebody should, make a story on what you do with your life choices, and shit like that. So I'm like, whoa there, I was like, hey man.
Hey there, buddy.
So I just explained to him, a lot of people agreed with what I said. Like, I mean, it went crazy with the replies and all that jazz and likes. It went crazy.
By explain to him, you mean you bombarded him with vocabulary that he could not repel?
Something. And so everybody was like, kind of like on my side, I agree. Somebody said he's not listening to you because he's eating. Like, people were just saying all these crazy things on there. And so I just replied, like, look, I'm a fan of his. And I just, I put a quote of Mike Tyson on there.
Yeah.
And Mike Tyson says a lot of idols fall into vain. And so that's what I was, I put that there. And then, I just
What does
left
that
it there.
mean?
Like, a lot of these guys get in the limelight. They got the spotlights on them.
Right, right.
And they got girls, they got money, they got cars, they got everything handed to them. Everything's just like you feel like you can just do anything, and you don't think nobody can beat you. So you think what got you there, you don't have to do it anymore. Some guys lose that, and and some of the guys think you don't got to train at that level because nobody's gonna beat me. Nobody trains like me.
Right,
So you
right.
start doing less. Every fighter's gone. A lot of fighters gone through it, and some don't. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. I feel like that could happen with a fighter like that.
You start to get that feeling like your fame, it kind of like outweighs your skills, and you don't need, you know what I mean? Like,
It
I'm
happens to a
so
lot of guys.
popular, I'm so famous, I can win with just that. When in reality, you need the skills and you need the physique, the
Yep.
training. You need both.
And a lot of these fighters know, like, like Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao are two prime examples that you got to fucking put in work to get to that level. And
Right.
a lot of these fighters want those paychecks, and they ain't did half the work those guys do.
Yeah.
And that's why those guys could still come out in their 40s, like Pacquiao did just 2 years ago, and still take on a prime fighter because the way it's just a different era. This era right now is why that window, like I was telling you, I'm so excited about. If I can bring it up,
Oh, you bring it up. I knew you were
I'm
gonna.
really excited because Mike Tyson's getting back in the ring, and so
Yeah.
is Roy Jones Jr.
I'm excited about it too, because I mean, the guy's a legend. It'll be awesome to see him fight this late in his life.
But you got to understand. Also, Roy Jones Jr. is no bum. Roy Jones Jr. was one of the greatest middleweights, light heavyweights. But his middleweight was where he was prime. He was
Okay.
so untouchable, man. This guy was so fast. I mean, oh my gosh, it was disgusting. He was like the most dominant, probably top 5 middleweights, top hands down. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. He was like, before he started losing fights, you know what I'm saying? Like, because he tried to go to light heavyweight, that's where he kind of started losing some speed and whatnot, started getting bigger
Sure,
punches
sure.
hitting him. But that's where, same with Tyson. Like, Tyson, lost his training core. His training core was golden. If Customato was younger, Tyson would have never lost under
No,
Customato.
I don't think he would have ever, because he would have never gotten into that. Because he what did he fell into like a kind of a depression when Customato left him.
Well, the guy practically adopted him. He was living 2 lives as a young thug in this one neighborhood from New York to, then he had to go be with a white family and be nice and have
Right.
dinners and, train and, learn things properly. And, he would have to live two different lifestyles. And when he left, he had a hard time trusting people because everybody went after his dinner plate. Everybody went after his money.
Absolutely.
And he was just he just went crazy, man. And I could see how that happened. I compare him to the guy from The Blind Side. Like I said, like the guy Michael Orr. He went to the
Yeah.
NFL, but he had a young support system. If like I said, if Customato was still younger, it would have been the craziest heavyweight run ever.
Now I've seen some stuff of Tyson now,
Yeah.
and he's training. He looks. What is he? 60 something?
No, he's 54.
Oh, he's 54. Okay. So at 54 years old, I feel like he could beat the crap out of anybody who's in their 20s because he looks so fast still.
I
His
think Mike
feet.
Tyson's 53 and Roy Jones is 54, something like that.
Okay. Well, anyway, neither. I mean, that's they're in their 50s.
Yeah.
They're in their he's so fast. I seen his footwork where like he's
Uh-huh.
just moving, and I'm just like, damn.
And that's important in boxing too. If you don't got your legs, you can't fight no more.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
got to be able to move because those guys, everybody's a puncher. Everybody has that puncher's chance.
Right.
And if you can't get out the way, it's only a matter of time.
It's all about core and legs.
You got to have those legs. And if you see Tyson's legs, man, they're still good.
They look like tree trunks.
And I don't know if he's got close to the power of his 20s, but it looks like he's got power. It looks like he's got speed. It looks like he got movement. And Roy Jones looks like he's got hand speed, but his legs look like he don't got them. That's what I'm nervous about.
I was noticing that too. He didn't look like he was moving, his ducking and weaving as fast. I mean, Tyson, he looks so fast still. Like the stuff I've seen, I couldn't believe my eyes. I thought I was watching the young Tyson still fighting.
So, that's another thing about Tyson. I can tell you, you can see now Tyson's in control of what's going on in a lot of things in his life, it looks like, and he's in a good place. And now mentally, Mike Tyson is at a good place. And with him having a good mind, his body's following, and he's just, like I said, his body's on another level because mentally he's there also.
Yeah,
And,
I agree
mean,
with that.
To me, he looks awesome.
That is some loud dog barking.
So, to me, like I was saying, to me, he looks really awesome. And I'm excited about the fight. They started this new sports league. Mike Tyson did. It's called League of Legends.
What is that now? Is
So
that a
this
boxing
is what,
thing?
yeah, and this is I think it's everything. I'm not sure what all they're going to be doing, but they're gonna start it off with this match on September 12th is the kickoff of the league, and it's all about everybody who used to play football, basketball, baseball players, whatever. If you think you can still do it and perform, he says this is leagues for you, and they're debuting at September 12th with this boxing match between him and Roy Jones.
So there's more like retired athletes. Is that kind of
something like that?
what it's geared towards?
But they still think they can like perform at high levels. You know, what I'm saying?
I gotcha.
And like what Tyson's doing is no different than like it's not been done. It's been done before. Like George Foreman won the title at a late age. He came back and beat Michael Moore and knocked him out.
How old was George?
He was late in his 40s
George
for a
Foreman.
heavyweight, and he came in, still selling Foreman grills, and decided to come back in the ring and won the heavyweight title back.
Wow.
And then what's his name?
I don't know.
Bernard Hopkins.
Oh, okay.
Bernard Hopkins fought into his late 40s too, and man, he was still fucking playing great. It's because the way those guys took care of themselves and the way they train. And when your mental's there, that's key. And Mike Tyson has a high IQ when it comes to boxing.
Now it's got to also be important that like throughout your career, you didn't take you were a good at dodging punches. Because you can't be a punching bag and survive long as a boxer, can you?
That's right. And if you see Tyson,
you
man,
get wore out.
You know how you describe that door stopper thing? That
yes,
that's Tyson, man. Try to punch Tyson. You ever see him training? His head's like wow. Like
I've seen
I
those
mean, that's
videos.
like
yeah.
insane, dude. Like to time that as a person trying to stop that, with not to mention his rapid fire punching style.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing, and it's all mental too. I mean, the physical's there. You got to have a body that is physically capable of doing what you want it to do, but that mental, he's got to predict. It's almost like he's got to be like a soothsayer and just be able to tell the future. Like, okay, this punch is going to come from here. That punch is going to come from here, and just move before it happens.
And that's how it goes, man. But I think the fight's going to be interesting. I'm excited. I kind of see it like if Roy Jones. It looks like he's still got power.
Yeah.
If he can slow Mike Tyson down with his power, I don't see his legs being there, but if he can slow Mike Tyson down with power, then he can make the fight last a long time. But if those punches don't hurt Tyson, he's going to, bob and weave through those fucking punches that if they're not hurting him, and he's going to drop bombs on him.
I think Roy Jones, he'll get tired.
He's going to drop bombs, dude.
He'll just tire him out.
And then my other question is, can they, at their age, go? It's going to be 8 rounds. A normal fight's 12, and they're going to go 8.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Can they go deep? How exciting is it going to be if it goes deep? If they're not going to be gassed out and just hugging each other, or like I said, or is Tyson going to fucking try to bomb them, early and go 4 rounds maybe?
Now, let me ask you this: have you ever seen a fight where, let's say, the competitors are just so exhausted? Let's say it's we'll just say for the sake of argument, it's the 7th round. and they're so exhausted. They even after sitting down, they get up and they just go to the middle of the ring and hug each other because they can't even fight anymore. They can't lift their arms. Is there something that they'll do, like the referees or whatever, to say, okay, this fight's over.
Yep.
These guys can't fight any longer.
Yeah. And what they do is they'll start telling you stop hugging, stop grabbing, and then eventually they'll start taking points away. They will force the action. And they'll actually go to corners between fights, and they'll tell the fighter, if you ain't fighting, I'm going to stop the fight. If you don't throw something, show me something, I'm going to stop the fight. And what's cool about that, if you watch those, the referee, you can see that live when you do those live events.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool, man, because sometimes it inspires a fighter, and dude, guys will come out and just win the fight or something, change the whole momentum. And it's exciting about that when that happens,
Interesting. So they try to light a little fire under their ass. But will they ever call the show early?
Never, because they're too exhausted. Like I said, they'll make a fighter do it, and they'll start subtracting points. They'll totally make the action.
I gotcha.
Unless it was like an injury of some sort. Other than that, they're going to keep yelling at him to do the fight, and the crowd will start booing. It'll get crazy.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I've never seen one of those fights, but I know you've watched a lot more boxing and other fighting than I have.
Or you could get simply from a corner, and the corner will just throw the towel in.
Oh, okay. So
I've seen some fights where they never even came off the chair.
They're just going to they'll be like, I'm done.
Your trainer's like, look, you're losing. I don't think you're going to get the knockout. There's no use for you to go. And they'll just tell the ref, look, man, we're done. And my man will still be in the chair like, I don't even have to get up for this round because we're done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
So it happens.
All right. That's interesting.
It will be interesting.
We'll see what happens when Tyson and what's the guy's name?
Roy Jones.
Roy Jones
Jr.
Roy Jones Jr. Did his dad fight?
I don't remember if his dad fought, but Roy Jones is Hall of Fame top middleweight ever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a junior, so Roy Jones has got to be.
Yeah, I don't know what his dad did, but he's a junior. But I know Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And the world knows Roy Jones Jr.
You're like my encyclopedia of sports stuff. Like if I got sports questions, I just ask you. I'm not looking. I'm not Googling it. I don't need to. I just ask Jaime.
That's right. Well, speaking of that, NBA started, baseball started.
I know.
And NBA players are already fucking it up for everybody.
Uh-oh. What happened?
These dudes are already 3 players on the same team left over personal reasons. Reasons. Everybody knows they went and got booty.
Oh, man.
That was, dude, don't even lie. That's why they all
So
went.
they left to go get some booty?
That's my assumption.
So
and there's a bunch of groupies and all them like professional groupies.
Yeah.
Like they got this like business. No, no, anyways. But these girls are all making claims already and saying how many players contacted them already. They're going to get them into the bubble. So you know how girls are going in there. So the NBA players going to mess it up.
They want that thick sausage.
They got to have that stature, and they got like a reputation to uphold. So they got to fucking, have probably how many multiple women per city they play. But they're just going to Disney World. They're in Disneyland, just bringing them to Disneyland.
Well, you know what they're doing is they're creating an NBA army. That's what you just don't understand.
So them groupies are like. They're like, what are you talking? They're like acting like they won a Super Bowl and shit when they get that phone call to go to the fucking bubble.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm going to Disneyland. That's what everybody wins when they win a championship. Like in the NBA and NFL, that's what they always say.
Right.
What are you going to do? I'm going to Disneyland. So that's what they're all going to say when they all get that phone call. They see the phone call. It's like an NFL player. I'm going to Disneyland, bitch. And so she gets that high payday to get into the bubble and,
So opening baseball already started, right?
Yep.
So did all them guys kneel? Is that what they did? I saw something in the news where like all the players kneeled for the national anthem or something.
They're doing that. I'm not really into getting that, but
I'm not trying to get into it. I'm just thinking like, can we just be done with this? Can we just play some sports and watch some TV? You guys just got sports. Let's just play some sports.
Yeah, I'm ready for like a bench clearing brawl.
Yeah, there we go.
With or without the mask, whatever the fuck.
Right.
I want that shit to happen. I want a pitcher to hit the dude. I want it to feel normal. And it was kind of crazy.
Throw a bat. Something.
It was weird watching no fans in the crowd, but it was also cool watching sports. It was funny watching NBA stuff, too. Like, sounded like a high school game when you got like 4 people there.
Well, because you could hear all the shoes squeaking on the court and whatnot.
LeBron stole the ball and he dunks it. It was just like, LeBron James. And you hear those guys from the bench like, yeah. Like, there's like 6 guys like, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
You the man, LeBron.
Do they have like a fake crowd cheering?
Yeah, I think they pump in some stuff like that. I didn't hear it that good, though. I was trying to, maybe I didn't have my TV loud enough, but they were doing some things like that.
Oh, man. So they got like a crowd, like a cheer track, like the old laugh track from the old sitcoms, but it's a cheer track.
Look, all I know is when NFL starts, shit'll get back to more normal because Jerry Jones. I don't know if everybody knows. Jerry Jones is like the mob boss of like billionaires.
Yeah.
People don't know that dude just makes that look. He's like this little short dude. Like
open the country.
He looks like the guy from Tattoo from Fantasy Island, but a white guy, and he's like silver hair, and he just gives you that look of steel. Like he's like the Joe Pesci, and we don't even know like what kind of shit he controls because when that dude talks, man, he makes it happen.
Oh yeah, you know he does.
This guy would have these shady football games against the Cowboys where they would win these ridiculous games, and then afterwards you would see literally the referees in their party buses.
Really?
And nobody would say nothing. They would just show pictures like, look, the referees are partying with Jerry Jones. And then Jerry Jones would be like, so? And they'd be like, okay.
You can't have
this
that.
This dude's got power like I don't know. So when football starts, he's going to be like, I want fans. And they're going to be like, we can't have fans. And Jerry Jones is going to be like, are you going to make me say it again? And then if he gets on that step ladder to get in your eye level because you're really short, y'all are going to listen to Jerry Jones.
For real.
And football will have fans again. We'll have people with the half-painted faces or half-painted faces.
Half fanny paces.
I guess some people are doing like digital crowd stuff, and I heard that it went really good. Fox Sports tried it out, and I heard it went really well. I'm gonna check it out. I didn't see it. I'm gonna go look it up, and I heard it was kind of cool looking. But
they need to do that VR crowd thing like we thought of a while back.
But I'm telling you right now, Jerry Jones, all them season ticket holders, they're all gonna just bite the bullet on that money. Jerry Jones is going to say, we want fans, and it's going to happen. Jerry Jones is the one who could change it.
And it's not like they can refund that money. It's not like they're going to be like, there's no football, so give me my money back.
He's going to be like, people got to see America's team.
That's right.
In person. We got to hear that real America's team crowd. And then they're going to say, are you sure? And all the money that he's got invested everywhere. Like, you can't even build sports stadiums without that dude's permit. Like, he's part of that committee. Like,
no way.
Like, you can't build a sports stadium without Jerry Jones.
And that's a lot of money for the cities. That's a lot of revenue that cities get from their sports arenas.
He's like one of those Dallas characters in that show Dallas.
Oh, damn.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just one of them big billionaire dudes.
That 70s TV show.
Yeah. Where everybody went after JR.
That was probably one of the greatest sitcoms of all time.
It was, dude. It was like super drama.
Yeah, super drama. You can't get a better sitcom than that. If you've never watched Dallas, go watch it. It'll blow your mind at the stuff they were doing back in the 70s.
Dude, so like I told you, I'm watching that Alone shit, right?
Oh, yeah. You were telling me about the...
So I watched season 6. It fucking rocked, and I had to go to season 1.
I was going to say, you said you went back to season 1, and you said these guys didn't know anything?
They didn't know shit. There were people just quitting after like a day.
When you say they didn't know anything, did they even know how to start a fire?
Some of them did, but they were like, they put them... You know who else didn't know shit? The fucking producers of the show.
What do you mean?
You're going to start season 1, and they just dropped these motherfuckers in the wettest place ever. It was some island in Canada. It's like Vancouver Island or some weird shit. It was like this wet fucking sponge of a place. They were trying to cut tree limbs, and fucking shit was so spongy because the earth was like sucking them trees up.
Yeah.
And they couldn't even barely get firewood. It was so crazy.
No.
And not to mention that, they put them in this area who was like just super highly populated with like the most populated area of wolves and bears and fucking crazy shit.
No, that is not good.
So these guys are sitting there, and you know how I told you can pick 10 items.
What do you win? You can win $1 million?
It wasn't $1 million yet. It was only $500,000 on this one.
So here's the scenario. Okay, we're going to take you and we're going to drop you off. You can win $500,000. And we're going to take you and we're going to drop you off in bear-infested, wolf-infested swamp land that's frozen.
Yeah, and it constantly rains. You're in basically a Canadian rainforest.
That's
where it basically was.
I'm not into it. No, there's got to be better ways to make $500,000.
So these guys all picked the dumbest 10 shit. Like, nobody had a bow. These all guys had like little knives.
Some guy was probably like, I want to bring my Lego set.
There was some dumb shit, man. This guy was like, I brought a tarp, and it's not even waterproof. They put like a canvas tarp. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
I brought my Game Boy.
This guy's like, I could always start a fire, but just not tonight. Dudes were just laying tarps on their bodies over the fucking dirt.
I brought a 9/16 ranch.
And they got their fucking camera on their face, and I'm like, why does it look like they made no tent? And you look at nighttime with the outside view, and they just got the tarp laid on their body on the ground. I'm like, what's going on here? These guys can't do shit. And in the beginning, it tells you these are trained survival experts. My ass. They ain't trained for shit. These guys didn't know what. They didn't even dress right. They all had like fucking... They weren't even dressed up. This guy's like, I have this thin coat, and it's going to rip easy, and has to go through all this bushes. And he goes through and damn near had no sleeves and shit when he got to his fucking, I'm going to set up camp now. Had no fucking sleeves on his coat. And he's walking all soaking rain. He's like,
that's hilarious.
I'm wet down to my waist. And this other guy didn't even give a shit. He started walking around barefoot. He was all like part hippie.
Oh, my God.
He's got sandals on and shit. Just like, I don't give a damn. Just whatever.
Oh, that's a
He's
great
like,
way to get
I'll
you.
eat in, I got 3 days to eat. That's what he was like talking about. Nobody wanted to make a shelter. All these guys were talking about, I'm just going to walk around and check the land out. I'm like, man, you better find a house. You're in the rainforest.
So one guy's like, I brought a light bulb. Like,
So
what
they,
are you doing with that light bulb? Nothing.
yeah, so the producers put him in this place infested with wolves and fucking bears. And this guy first, he goes to night, goes to sleep, and he's like a cop. He's fucking talking all this tough shit. And it was crazy because they all talked like they were awesome. There was this one guy had these bright yellow gloves. I know he was going to quit real quick.
Yeah, bright yellow gloves.
Off his gloves right away. He was carrying his stuff. I saw these yellow gloves. I'm like, oh, he's going to quit.
Oh, man.
Me and my wife was like betting push-ups and shit. I was like, I'll bet you some money and some push-ups that this dude's that yellow glove dude's gone.
Didn't you say somebody started crying?
Oh, the first guy started crying right off the bat. Well, I would have cried too, man. There was a bear. There was bears all around his ass. At first, I thought he was a wuss. I'm like, we saw him. Oh, he's quitting. We were like, he's quitting.
Yeah.
And then, so it gets to nighttime. We thought he was bullshitting with the bears. So the camera was outside. No, there was bears all around this dude. And he starts crying like, it just sucks. And then he started crying because he found out he was the first one. He found out he's the first one to tap out.
What kind of crying was it? Was it like that uncontrollable? Were you like uncontrollably sobbing, or was
it
he
was
just
like
like
that? It was like that. You're trying to hide a train in your throat.
Oh,
you got a train go, like you just can't hold it. Like, it was crazy. It was like you got a train going down your throat. There's a hidden railroad.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And so yeah, it was great. And then the next guys, and he was the first one to go. People was dropping like every day. It was like the fastest season ever. These guys was just because nobody had shit. Nobody had nothing. Nobody had no bows. No, I don't know how the fuck they were going to eat.
I was going to say, how do you expect to kill anything?
One dude kept eating moss and kelp.
There's
there
no
was
calories in that.
There was some vitamins in some of the stuff. He knew like the plants and shit, but he was just like he couldn't survive on it. You could see everybody just getting skinny as fuck.
You can't live on vitamins.
Oh man, dude, they just it was crazy, dude. They were dropping like flies on season 1, and I blame the producers though for dropping them in a fucking wolf infested area. One dude lost his little fucking striker. He's like, he set it on the log. He set it on the log by the beach. He's like, I found the water. Now I'm going to set this up so I can get a fire going. And he got a fire going, and he went back to grab his shit so he can build his, like, shelter.
Yeah.
And he's like, where the fuck did it go? So he had to tap out. He's like, I couldn't make a fire no more. I couldn't keep this fire going. So he had to tap out. It was hilarious. They didn't know shit in season 1.
That sucks.
About to start season 2. Y'all better step your game up, because I watched season 6, and them boys was, like, skilled.
Well, you got to figure there's got to be some advancement as the show goes on. So I'm sure the people who watched season 1 were like, these guys don't know shit. I know more than that. So in season 2, those are those guys. They went like, I'm going to go do that shit. And in season 2, you had the guys who watched season 1.
There was a guy in season 1, that hippie guy in the sandals.
Did he tap out?
He said, yeah, he ended up, I think he did. So he's over here like, I got to make this raft. I got to cross this water because I got to find water.
Come again? Can you explain that to me? Was it salt water? Were they surrounded by
I think it was salt water, so that's why he had to go find the fresher water.
Okay.
But it was just funny at first because I caught it, one of them where you catch it at the right time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? You're crossing water to get water, man. So I was like judging him at first, but no, he was trying to get running water.
I got to find water on water.
Got to cross this water to get to that water.
I mean, that sucks, man. You can't drink that salt water. That should kill you.
But yeah, man, I blame the producers and the people on that show. Y'all claim you knew shit and didn't know shit.
Oh, man, that's bogus. That's bogus. But you know what? That's okay. That makes it entertaining. I'll bet you that's what motivated people for season 2. And then I'm sure you're going to watch season 2, and I'm sure some of them are going to suck.
Yeah, I can't wait to check out number 2.
There's going to be some suckage.
Because I think there's 7 seasons right now.
Okay.
So now I'm going to catch up because I watched 6. Everybody was talking about 6. I saw my man on Rogan because he was the winner of 6. So I had to watch it. It was fucking awesome.
I used to watch that show, that crab fishing show, for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Deadliest Catch or whatever?
Yeah, Deadliest Catch. I watched that. And I remember as the show went on, they started, like, I think when they got in, like, the 5th and 6th season, people started coming on the show who just wanted to do it just to see if they could be a crab fisherman. And these people, you got to understand, you're crab fishermen. These are some hardcore
That shit gets cold, man.
These guys will work.
They can't stop. You got to be alert.
Yeah, you'll work 20-hour days and then sleep for 4 hours and then work another 20-hour day. If the pot's got to be pulled, it's got to be pulled. You got to pull that shit and get back in the shore.
I loved when they would yell at the guys that weren't working hard.
It was hilarious.
Or when the dudes would get injured and shit. Like, I feel bad for the injuries, but it was still kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because y'all should have been paying attention. But when they would yell at those guys, getting all the guys in trouble.
They got up their ass.
And you're stuck on a boat, so you got to deal with it until you get back on shore.
You got guys who just couldn't hang. I can guarantee you right now, I could not do that.
That was tough shit.
At-
I don't think I could do it.
At no point watching Deadliest Catch did I think, I can do that. I'm a bad motherfucker. I can do that. No, there was no point at which I thought that. It's like that show when I used to watch Ice Road Trekkers. I went, well, I can drive a truck, but I can't drive a truck like that.
I ain't going to drive it on ice that will break.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I will go in a straight line.
Right.
I'll try to park it.
You can give me the freeway. I'm okay with that. And make sure that freeway is got no ice or snow on it.
For real.
Summertime freeway. No rain either. I don't want rain on it either.
Summertime Freeway. The new single, Summertime Freeway.
That new single, Summertime Freeway.
Get yours now.
Yeah, get it now.
Before Christmas. Pre-order now. We're taking them.
Get it now before Hanukkah. Because they're all going to be sold out.
Yeah, they'll all be done by Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Sorry, Canada.
Oh, that's a bummer. I want to thank you all for watching this episode. And if you like what you see, put a like and a subscribe and follow us. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when we get new episodes going. We drop what? Once a week?
Once a week.
Once a week. We drop new episodes. So
Bring it.
Be on the lookout. We don't have a set day, so put that notification bell, click that bell, and you'll get to know when we drop our hottest episode.
Because sometimes we'll get whatever day we get together. Sometimes those days episodes will drop the same day we shoot them.
Sometimes.
And we just try to get them out as much as possible because
Yeah.
we're just trying to get as much content out, trying to reach new viewers, new subscribers. So
Absolutely.
right now, till we get our numbers up, like I said, it won't be a specific set date, but it's definitely once a week we'll be getting them.
And those likes and those subscriptions, those really help us out. That helps us build the channel up and helps us keep doing what we're doing. So if you like what you're listening to, and if you don't like it, make sure you show it to somebody who might like it. You somebody out there, you might say, hey, I don't like this. But then you think in the back of your mind, but yeah, little Tommy, he might like this. Show it to Tommy. Share those videos to Tommy. He might like it. Or Billy Bob or whatever.
The guy stalking you on the social media.
He might like it. Yeah, he might. You never know. So
that's how it goes.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
And this has been another episode of
Meant
to
Vent.
Till next time, people.
Later.